Bart, welcome
Hi.
to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for being here. Gonna high five you.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, so just to start, why don't you briefly introduce yourself about who you are and where you come from?
Okay, I'm Bart Torensma, 33 years old, born and raised in Amsterdam, and I'm a clinical epidemiologist. I'm PhD candidate and also give anesthetics to people who are obese. I'm the assistant of the anesthesiologist and specialized in the patient with obesity, and we help them with the surgery to become more healthy again.
I see. And for you told me for your work, you do a lot of public speaking events.
Yeah.
So you're standing a lot in front of audiences.
Yeah, correct.
And that's what I wanted to talk about you today, to go more in depth about storytelling and how do you do that? How do you present? So why don't you take off and talk a bit more about your experiences?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Public speaking is wonderful. It is for a lot of people, the most scary thing there is, standing on stage, telling the new things you find out in research, or you want to convince someone to do something else. And the most basic rule in human brain is that people can and will change, but don't want to be changed. And the most managers and also public speakers make the mistake not understanding that happens, that people can and will change, but not want to be changed. And the thing is, if you give a presentation about a new therapy and you say, from now on, we need to change the therapy and we need to do this. Everybody who did something else in the past would say, oh, no. Why? What are you saying? No. You cannot convince people by just saying what to do. You need to convince them by telling them the story, that they have the feeling that they convinced themselves. So this is the first thing I want to tell every listener. Think about what your story is and how you're going to tell it without saying with the finger.
Mm-hmm. Like you have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that you are the middle point on the stage, not your PowerPoint slides. A lot of people will give a lot of PowerPoint slides with a lot of text, and you lose the people because you have only one thing to do in the audience is look and listen. And if there's a lot of text and you need to listen, the listening will shut down and you will go to read the text. But maybe I will tell a little bit more deep about the topic, maybe a little bit more about why we did what we do, etc., etc. So the text on the slides is only a brief reminder for yourself what you want to talk about, and all the attention should be always on you. And the thing is that the human brain is not capable of remembering a lot. So you need to train the brain of the audience and knowing when the brain is tuning out. The basic rule in presentation is, for instance, you speak 1 minute per slide. So you have a presentation of 50 minutes. That's most of the time if you go to big conferences, you get 15 minutes. The fun fact, no matter how long you talk, 50 minutes, 2 hours, stuff like that, you always remember 5 slides, 3 text, 2 photo.
That's not so much.
No, it's not so much. So think about if you have a conference for 15 minutes, 15 slides, you remember 5, you forget 66%. You remember 33%. So if your slides are very full with all kind of information,
nobody's going to remember it.
Nobody is going to remember it. So you need to use the stage as you are the presenter of the knowledge. And the thing is that all the extra things you want to say on the slide, you can set it in comments, send them afterwards in PDF to all the audience and the people who were there. But the thing is, you are owning the stage, and don't forget, they will change, but they don't want to be changed, and you can work with that. Fun thing is what you can do is non-verbal communication. And the only thing what is listening is 7%. Non-verbal communication is 93% of the time. So what you can do with your hands, you get all the attention to you instead of your PowerPoint. And then what I told also the people I train is say, okay, if you sit on your chair, what we do right now, and if you close your eyes and thinking about the present, the now, You can say, okay, this is my chair. This is now. And there's research done, and they ask a lot of audience, if you need to point with your finger the future, where do you point? To the right and to the front. Yeah. This area is the future, and
but for the viewer, it should be to the right, right?
Yeah. So you need to mirror it. The past is to your left and back.
Yeah.
So what you can do if you want to change them by motivate them in doing something differently, you can use your hands and your body by saying, okay, guys, we're now here. The audience over there, so you do it in mirror. If we look at the past, it was not good what we did. Today we discovered something else, and we're going to bring it to the future. Yeah. And then people will remember the moment you're on stage, where you walk, hey, something else happening.
That's a shift.
It's a shift. And if you want to have the attention of the audience, walk towards the audience. Hey guys, it's like a secret. I want to tell you something. And if you want to have expression, you want to tell something to all the audience because it is something what's not a secret, but you need to scream it, you walk back and you have a big audience. You have a better overview.
So you use the stage very well in that manner, right?
Yeah. And this is most of the time when I'm asked as public speaker, I always want a walking microphone or a microphone.
You don't want a fixed...
No, not behind a theater, because then you're fixed and you have only your hands. But it is nice to walk over the stage because then you get the distraction of looking at the PowerPoint presentation. Everybody will look at you. You have the story. You want to present something to them and use it as a possibility that they have all the attention to you.
And do you have like some examples of how you've used this principle or concept for yourself? And how did you see like the audience really engaging with you?
There was a conference in Dubai last year, and we had a lunch session. I was the fourth speaker of the lunch session, and I noticed that the three people before me had a little bit beautiful information, but it was very dry. So you saw the audience already falling
Passing
asleep.
Out,
yeah. So I knew it already when I was in Amsterdam that I was the fourth speaker. So I started my presentation with a funny video, a Giphy of saying, hey guys, I know we had first 3 surgeons, now the anesthesiology. I know we are very boring, sleeping profession. And then you saw a little child falling asleep. But I want to tell you something new. And I had a child jumping in waves and in water, having joy. And the audience
immediately woke up.
So you need to do something else, something different to get the attention of the audience. So knowing your audience, knowing where you are, if it is possible to do, yes or no, is sometimes a little bit tricky, but sometimes, maybe I'm a little bit strange. I try to do always something out of the box to see if it is happening. And you saw I had 15 minutes. The audience was there, fully awake, short PowerPoints, a lot of talking, and everybody say to everybody, and you know what? At the end, come to me if you have more questions, because you know for sure they will forget 66% of the time you say. So your main message, and this is for public speaking very important, if you know they lose a lot of information, always start or finish with a sentence. We most of the time say this is the take-home message, but try to do
something different
by expressing the word or the topic. You say, okay, we talked about this, this, and this. Small summary. Hey, okay, 33% is already going up. And then say, and this is the most important thing. Go in front of the
main message.
Main message. Point to the future. Go forward to your audience and say, and this is the thing I want to tell you.
That's a nice summary. So if I listen to you correctly, then I think you basically say the essence is also less is more. Like, don't overwhelm the audience with a lot of information because they will not remember it. Just just cut out all the clutter
Yeah.
and stick to the main point.
3 text, 2 photos. So if you have, for instance, especially in science, you have tables where you have table 1, basic demographics, baseline demographics, we call them. Beautiful, but totally not interesting for the audience. The only thing is interesting if there's something different from your baseline. You can have one word where you can say the differences is that it was not equal women and men. Okay.
Yeah.
Period. Don't show them 20 lines of tables. No, use that as the picture. For a moment, you really want to show them the picture. What is important as a result, a table, a figure, something like that. Less is more.
I also was wondering, like, your presentations, are they usually long or short, or are it's a mix between them?
It's a mix. So at conferences, you have 50 minutes, tops 20. I also give masterclasses to my colleagues, and the masterclass is 3 to 4 hours. So you need to work on something that you have 4 hours of attention.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to ask you. How does it? What are the main differences when you give a longer speech and the shorter one?
When you have the short one, you have the take-home message, the main point, and then with a longer presentation, you always summarize what you did previously. If the audience is possible to talk to the audience, what you can do is then say, okay, guys, 5 PowerPoints, slides, 3 text, 2 photos. What do you still remember from the last time? From the previous 15 minutes. And then they need to think about it. And the basic thing is, say at the beginning, write everything down. Use keywords. Because the keywords is necessary to remember afterwards. The brain, between short memory and long memory saving, has 3 points where they save the data. 24 hours, 7 days, 2 months. So you need to help yourself after 24 hours to think about what you wrote down. Do it the same at 7 days and do it again at 2 months. And then you have perfect knowledge of long-acting memory, saving all the information you had. When you do long, like masterclass of 3-4 hours, breaks.
And
let them stand up.
Yeah, engagement.
Yeah. You have a small video, but also let them stand up and walk. After 1 hour, sitting is the same as smoking a half cigarette. Sitting is the new smoking. Yeah. So if you let them sit for over an hour, they go first sit straight, and then it is going down and down and down.
Yeah.
And then
the slouch.
Yeah, and you lost them. So after 1 hour, you had a couple of intermezzos, you had the presentation, you had the memory backup, and you say, okay, small break. And sometimes it is not possible because you're in an audience with a time schedule, but then lower your information that you can use it. Use your break to get them fresh back.
I see. And I was wondering, like, in terms of your own preparation, like if you have 4 hours, you need to do the masterclass, and the 15 minutes one, like how is the preparation differently? Like, how do you prepare yourself?
First of all, start early. It is not something you can do the day before. Sometimes you can give a presentation and you need to make the slides 15 minutes, 15-minute presentation. You can start the day before. This is something you start 2-3 months before. Thinking about a flow, thinking about a script. So write down on one paper, when do I want to tell this? When do I close this chapter and start a new chapter? And use intermezzos. Intermezzos is the moment that the eyes always see Diaz, all the time PowerPoint. And at a certain moment, you need to refresh the brain by calling it an intermezzo. What happens? 2 things. 1, calling the word intermezzo, people say, hey, this is differently than the slide before. At that moment, the body, the sympathetic nerve system, will activate some adrenaline by thinking, hey, this is differently. If I need to escape now, maybe I need the information I just heard before, and I need to save it in my brain. So the adrenaline will save the basic information of the 33%, and then the eyes need to reset. And this is something difficult for the audience in front of you, if it is possible. But I always show them silly pictures every 15 to 20 minutes. By resetting the eye, by seeing something differently than the dias you saw before, it's like a new fresh
refreshment.
Start. They're going to sit differently, they're going to laugh, they're going to breathe differently, and the brain has a beautiful reset moment and can start from the beginning.
I see.
And this is something you can hold for 3 hours, because there is a routine. Every 15 minutes, there is an intermezzo.
And you get their attention back.
Yeah. And every 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you have a break. And sometimes at the end of the presentation of 4 hours, you get the breaks shorter.
Sure.
And also more often.
Okay, thanks. So one of the last things I want to talk about is, I mentioned you talking about earlier to me about being busy and prioritizing things. Can you elaborate on that? And one of the things that I really admire about you is that you, when you talk about educational pathway, I think you started at the bottom and you climbed all your way up, to you're becoming PhD now. So that shows determination and that you're really driven. And of course, then you must be efficient with time as well, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to hear more about that.
Yeah. Well, good question. Busy is, I think, the most hip word now ever. Everybody is busy. Everybody wants to be. If you're at the party, you say, "Hey, how are you?" "Yeah, I'm busy." "Oh, then you're cool." And if you say, "I'm not busy," "Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Suck.
Yeah. I learned it from a TED Talk, and it really changed a little bit my life by knowing, first of all, changing the word busy for priority, and say this to your friends and family. And it is hard. It's a slam in the face. But if my mother calls and said, "Do you want to meet this weekend?" and it is not really possible, I could do the easy way. "Sorry, Mom, I'm busy." And then she says, okay. But I also can say, "Sorry, Mom, I have to finish something. For now, you're not my priority." Well, it was not very good in the beginning, but now she understands that I need to prioritize. And I make a small calculation for you for this program. What changed it? If you have 24 hours in one day, and we have 7 days in a week, we have 168 hours of human time.
Yeah.
Say in the most, beneficial way that we sleep 8 hours a day. Nobody will get it, but still, if we do, we have 56 hours of sleep. So subtracted, you have 112 hours over. Well, then we have to work. Say that we work 50 hours. In total, we have 62 hours of free time, us time. And in the 62 hours, you need to go to the toilet, you need to go take your showers, you need to do your breakfast, dinner. But think about 62 hours of free time every week, your time. Mm-hmm. And then you need to think about, what does it cost to do gym?
Exactly.
And what I did is I say, I want to go to the gym, minimal of 1 day a week, but maximum of 2 days a week, not more. Because if I go more and I'm enthusiastic and I go more and I have a week not possible, I have a week that I cannot go to the gym, I'm screwed. But the fun fact is that I say, I'll go 1 hour to the gym with traveling, say that you are 2 hours, 60 hours left. Mm-hmm. And I block it in my agenda. Wednesday night is my gym night. And even for appointments, Wednesday, is full. And sometimes it is not possible, but mainly I say to friends, but also to colleagues who need to do something for work, Wednesday night is not possible. Think about 62 hours spare time. if I need to do a review for medical papers, I know for now, for the experience, I just clocked it, it takes me 8 to 10 hours. So if I get a review, I can just think about, okay, I have 4 weeks to finish the review. So I have 60 hours multiplied by 4 is 240 hours of spare time in 4 weeks. Can I get 10 hours of work in 240 hours? Yeah, that's possible. Block it, look at it. And it is a little bit, it's all, looking a lot of towards numbers, sometimes a little bit creepy, but it is helping you to understand that busy is not the correct word. It is priority. Yeah. Because if you have now flooding of water, you will not say to your house, oh, sorry, house, I'm busy in doing other things. The floor, well, it stays wet. No, you have immediately spare time to fix your floor, to fix your window and stuff like that. It's
because it's a priority.
It's a priority. Yeah. And they gave an example. It was a beautiful example. If you need to wash your drapes, and you say that, I say that to you now, you need to wash them tonight, or your window. You say, no, sorry, I'm busy. I say, okay, if you wash your windows, I give you 10,000 euros. Well, there's no discussion. You will wash them immediately for 10,000 euros. It's a priority. Wow, I can get money. And this is the thing in life. Sometimes we need to stop using the word busy. Just check for your priority and make spare time. Block your agenda. Give yourself goals, but also block the goals. No, Wednesday night is training night. I want to do this. You go to do this. And knowing what kind of time you need to, what it takes. I love social media. Sometimes I like to Instagram. Now, I know that it sometimes costs me 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day. So, okay, if I have the priority, if I give myself social media time, well, I have social media time. And I'm not thinking of social media and then afterwards say to my friends, sorry, I was busy. No, you were not busy, you were social media. So it is also a priority, what you say.
Thank you. So we're approaching the end. So I have 2 more questions. So the first one is, how can people find you on the internet? And the second one is, do you have still like a key message you want to give to people that you want to give? Yeah. Do you have some inspirational message you want to give to the audience?
Yeah. Well, first question, yes, they can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Website is bartorensma.nl.
I will also put the links on the podcast page.
Perfect. And if you have questions about the things we talked about, just email me and we will, I can always explain it again or have a discussion. The second thing, the take home message, I think it is the thing where I started with. People can and will change. That's the benefit, but they don't want to be changed. Think about that. Don't be the manager that they will do the top down pushing and pushing and pushing. No, let them think about the change. Give them examples, give them the benefits why it is better to do A instead of B. And then if people understand that it is better and they will do it from their own inside, you have a better then they do it, better working conditions. And so, exactly. That's my take home message.
All right. Bart, thanks a lot for sharing your knowledge and experiences. I wish you all the best in the future and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, man. It was nice. Thank you here.
Thanks for listening and see you next time.